Okay. So can you tell me what is the last point that we have covered yesterday? Just revision. What is the
Do while loops. We completed do while loop
yeah. And
and for
first
loop.
first we have taken the decision control structure, and then after that we have taken the while loop, and then do while loop, and for loop also we have taken.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I think the loop control structure we have completed. The next one is, I think we are going to take a function today. Is it correct? Yes. So we'll start the today's topic as a function. So just look at this terminal. Now this is my new IDE, that is Sublime Text. You can also use the same IDE at your machine. Generally, why we prefer to this IDE, because here the editor is also present and the console is also present at the same time. Okay, so whatever we type here, and if you want to get the its output directly by running that program, we can get the output here itself. Okay, so that's why from now onwards actually we are doing all the program in this editor itself. Okay, so today's topic is the function. So what do you mean by function? Can you tell me what do you mean by function? Can anybody tell me what is function? So function is a, yes, yes, you need to talk. I called the Sharma sir, and the Sharma sir also had told me that that student take the more response from the students. Direct, don't go for the one-way communication. This class should be the two-way communication. Okay.
So it's used to perform a specific task.
Yeah. Okay. So the definition is it is a collection of the statements. Okay, it is a collection of the statement. It is used to and written outside the main function, written as a separate one. And generally the aim for writing the function is it is used to perform the specific task. Okay, so for example, if I want to do addition, then I'm writing one addition function, and whenever I need to do addition, actually just I'm calling that function, and whenever I need to do addition, just I need to call that function. Okay, so no need to repeat the same code again and again. So it will actually, using the function, actually we are achieving that code reusability concept in C language. Okay, so actually function is a concept of C language, but the same concept is present in your C++ also. So we will first revise it. What is function? What are the different ways for defining the function? And what done by parameters, what done by arguments, what are the different types of argument passing, then what done by function prototype, how done by function calling, what done by function definition, that we are going to see here. Okay, so you can define the function as it is a block of statements. It is a block of statements used to perform a specific task. Okay, so here actually every program is contains at least one function. Every program must have at least one function, and that function name is called as a main function. Without main function, actually you can't execute your program. You can compile, but you can't execute your program, because main is the starting point of your program. So whatever you have written inside the main, actually it get executed. So this main, as we already have discussed about the main is the name of the function. And here int, what is the int? Int is the return type of the function, and after that this circular bracket is there. That circular bracket represent in the circular bracket, actually we are defining how many argument this function is taking, that is known as the input the function is taking. Now here there is no argument is given, so it is known as a zero argument function. And then after that there the curly bracket are there, and that curly bracket represent the body of the function. So it means that whenever we call this function, what statement we want to execute, that statement has to be enclosed in this curly brackets. This is known as a body of that function. So whatever I have written here, int main and that body or the curly bracket, it is known as a function definition. It is known as a function definition. But here we have only defined the main function, we have not called it. So who called the main function? Your operating system will calling the main function. So when the operating system is calling the main function, what happened? Whatever the statement that you have written inside the main, it will get executed. So can I write my own function? Can I write my own function? Can I write the function as a user defined function? Yes. Can I write the user defined function? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. In a C language, actually C language is a procedure oriented language, or also known as a function oriented language. So it means that if you want to execute anything, or if you want to develop a program, then you are distributing your whole one task into the number of subtasks, and that one task, that subtask, you are written as a function. For example, here I want to print here, I want to write here one function which is printing a hello, So here I am writing one function name as a hello, void hello. Okay, so why void hello here? Because void is the return type of my hello function. So why I have taken that return type as a void? Because the aim of writing the function hello is to print only hello, So it will only print hello, but it is not returning anything. So if it is not returning, if there is no result from the function, whatever the activity, it is done inside that statement only, there is no output of the function, then generally we are writing here void here. Okay, but suppose take the consider of the addition function. Okay, so if there is an addition function, suppose if you are giving a 2 input to the addition function, now what is the output of the addition function? The sum of that 2 number, the input number. So that's why we must write there the return type, according to that addition there. Okay, if the addition, the result of the addition gives the integer, so their return type is the integer. But here in our case, the hello will not give any type of output. It means that it is not returning anything. It will give the output as a print only, but it is not returning anything. So that's why we are putting there void. So void hello means, and again one more thing, here bracket are the empty bracket. It represent that there is no argument required to call this function. If you want to call the function, then no argument is required here. So here I'm just writing one statement here, cout hello, very simple, and endl also I am writing here. Got it? So can you tell me, can anybody tell me, if I'm running the program, what is the output here? Just tell me what is the output if I'm running the same program. Yes, need to talk. Yes, hello. Hello, yes. H capital. Just unmute your mic and just tell me the output. Unmute your mic. Chandramohan says hello, yes. Yutukari says hello. Okay, so just check the output. I'm running this program. I'm building build system as a C++ single file. and just I am click on that build. When I click on the build, actually, okay, there is no output here, and you are saying that there is a hello output. So why the hello will not be printed? Can anybody explain me?
Sir, is it because it's not in the void in the main?
Pardon? It is not.
Is it because it is not in the main?
It is not in the main means what? Here the hello we have actually only written. That hello function we have only written, but we have not called it. If you are not calling it, then it will not execute. The same example is, for example, you have the C++ book at your home and you are not reading that book. If you are not reading that book, then the whatever the C++ knowledge present in that C++ book you are not getting. So here also same thing happen here. In a main function, actually whatever the available hello function is there, that you are not using it. If you are not using, then how your operating system will know that what to execute? Because operating system will execute only the thing that is present in the main function. If you are not calling that hello function in the main, then it will not execute. So got it? Everyone has getting this point? So if there is a function is present, if user defined or any library function is present, and if you are calling that function, then only the function get executed. That this is known as a function definition. This is the function definition. But rather that function definition is present, but until you call that function, until you call the function with its name, how will the function get called? With the name. Okay, so with the name and that circular brackets, if you are not calling it, then the function will not execute. Now here in the main function we have added the line as a hello, and now the argument list should be matched here. Here 0 argument function, and when you are calling it, it should be 0 argument only. So if it is matches, then only that hello function will get executes. So just I'm again change my program and again built it. When I again built it, now what happened in a main function, the hello will be called and it will go to the hello definition, and whatever it will present in the hello, it will get executed. So hello will be the output here. So getting this point. So if the 2 or 3 or hundreds of function is present in your program, and if you are only calling that 1 or 2 function, then only that 2 function will be get executed. The remaining 98 functions are not being executed. It will be executed once that function will be called. So got it? So how to write the function definition? We have seen here how to write function definition. First we have to write the return type. Okay, void is the return type. Next one is the name of the function. Okay, name of the function. Then after that curly that circular bracket. In a circular bracket we are using here the argument list. So what is the different argument that you are providing to the function, and then after that the curly bracket, and in the curly bracket the different statements, C++ statement that we are including here. So this is known as a function definition. So everyone getting this point? Yes, just type S in the chat
Yes,
box.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Okay, now next one is the what happen if I'm shifting this definition to here. What happened here? What changes I have done here? Firstly, hello definition is present before main function, but I have shifted that definition after main function. Does it makes any changes in the program?
No, sir.
No. So you will have the perfect output as a hello. Yeah, everyone having the same. So there is an error you can get. You can see here there is an error. Why there is an error? They said that use of undeclared identifier hello. Why? Can anyone have the answer? Why it's called, why it say the answer, error as a use of undeclared identifier? Hello is present,
Because
but
you have not
after the,
named a function, name of the function.
pardon? It is not.
Because
you
when
have
it
not
executes,
defined
it will
function.
go to the main first, no, sir.
Yes, Akhilesh?
So we have not defined the name of function, sir. So it cannot be called.
Yeah, I have defined the main hello function, but after the main function. Actually, this is the problem with the compiler design. In a compiler design, what happened? The compiler is always start from the first line. Compiler read the program on first line, then second line, then third line, then fourth line, then fifth line, and it will generate a tokens. The tokens means these particular meaning of that particular token. Yeah, compiler know that. Just like suppose if the compiler reading this token as a int, so int is a keyword, so compiler know that int is a keyword. Now next one is after this main is there. Now main is a function name, so it will that this entry will be go in the function table. Then after that this bracket is there, so it means that it is a function, and then curly bracket is there. Curly bracket defines the body of the function. Then after that it will come to the hello. Now it will search this hello token in the existing list of keyword as well as the variables. So there is no entry before this. There is no, your compiler don't know what is hello. So that's why it will directly show the error as use of undeclared identifier hello. But when we put this definition before the main function, what happened? It will read out first void hello, and it will do that entry of the hello in the function table. And when you are calling the function, then the hello entry will be available into the function. But this is happen only when if this definition is present before the main function. If it is present before main function, then it is having the entry in the function table that hello is something there. So hello is a function, and you will get a successful output if the definition present before main. But if you are shifting this definition after the main, then what happened? There is an undeclared identifier because there is no hello is present here before this one, so it will give the error. So how to remove the error? How to remove this error? I want to write this hello void hello definition after the main only, and I want to remove this error also. So how to remove it? This is just a C language. Can anyone tell me how to remove this error? Have you got this type
So I
of
think you use global.
use global? Yes.
So hello is a character. So I think should use ch or something.
No. Hello is present after main. So we have to declare this hello before. We have to declare the hello before. Actually, this is the definition. But definition can be done afterwards. We can declare it before it. So how to declare the function? You can declare the function before the main function like this. So there is no body present here. There is no body present, and this is known as a function declaration, or it is also called as a function prototype. It is also called as a function prototype. The prototype, when you are writing the function prototype with this semicolon represent, it is a function prototype. It is only for the compiler that there is a function name as hello, do the entry in a function table name as a hello, which is not taking any type of argument and which is not returning anything. So this is for the compiler that there is something hello is present somewhere else. It might be after the main, it might be before it, but in my program there is hello is present. This is just a prototype is given. This is only for the compiler. Okay, it is only to remove that error, that is it is that hello is not a undeclared identifier. Now hello is a declared identifier. So at that time when I again built it, there is no error present in this one. So at the compilation time there is error will be solved, but when you run it, what happen? When you call this function, it will go, now it will go after the main, it will execute cout hello, and again it will come back to the main function like this. So here I'm building this program again, and when I run it, you will get output as a hello. The error will be removed here. Okay, so there are the three very important steps that should be remembered regarding to the function. That is, very first one is a function prototype. Second one is the, what is this called? It is called as a function call. It is called as a function call. Third is called as a function definition. Third is called as a function definition. Got it? So function prototype means declaration. That is, we are only declaring that the function name, return type, and the argument list. Calling the function means we are calling the function with the name and the argument list. And definition means what is the actual content of your function statement that we are defining into the function definition. So everyone getting this point? So if you are writing, if you are writing the function below main function, then writing this prototype is must here. Compulsory, you have to write down the prototype there. Got it? Okay. Sorry. So here suppose there is one string is available, string name variable I am giving, string name is equal to Ganesh, and suppose I want to pass this hello, I want to pass this Ganesh to the as an argument to the hello function. So what the hello function should do? It will print hello Ganesh. It will print hello Ganesh. When I am passing Ganesh, it will print hello Ganesh. If I am passing the another name, so I am passing Akhilesh, then it will print hello Akhilesh. Got it? So here, what is the modification here? Now your modification should be done before this function prototype, because when I am directly building, there is an error. Again, there is an error. Okay, because no matching function for call to hello, because you are saying that hello is not taking any argument, and here you are giving the argument, so there is no matching type. So that's why you should give here the argument list. So here the prototype matches. Now the hello is taking the string as an argument. Here also hello you are giving the string as an argument to the hello function. But here at the definition also you have to modify here string n. Okay, giving the same name is not mandatory here. You can give the name itself, or you can give the another name itself. Okay, so now whatever the content of name, the content of a name is Ganesh. Now this name is passed to this string n. So now n contains the Ganesh. N contains Ganesh. So what I want to print here, hello Ganesh. So that's why I am using here n. I'm using the n. And what is the output here? Hello space, and then after that the content of n will be get printed. So getting how to pass the argument to the function. If I want to pass the argument to the function, actually what need to do here, in between this circular bracket, whatever we need to pass, that has to be put it here. If I want to pass the string, you have to put it here string. If you want to pass an integer, we have to put an integer. Got it? So everyone getting the point? Yes, everyone getting the point?
Yes,
How
sir.
to pass it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, suppose there is one another variable, integer age. Okay, so my age is 36. So here I want to pass this age variable also. I want to pass the age variable. So now you tell me where I need to do a modification. I need to I need to output as a hello Ganesh and your age is this. So very first modification is, yes, any one of you tell me the modification.
In function prototype, so you should put
Yes,
another
first-
argument int.
Yeah, so in a function prototype, actually
A.
what we need here, actually the second argument is the age. Second argument should be age. So that's why after giving the comma here, we are putting int variable. Why? Because age is an integer variable. Okay, so prototype should be very first argument is string, second argument is the integer. Okay, so here suppose a variable. Okay, so string n and int a. Now first modification has been done. Second modification in a function definition. In a function definition, again I am putting here int a. Okay, got it? But this a I am using here, and your age is a. Okay, so what is the content of a will be get printed there. Okay, so here I have written here a function which is taking a two argument. Very first argument is the string, second argument is an integer. Now when you are calling it, when you are calling that function, this prototype should be match. What the prototype says, first is string, so always pass the first argument as a string. Second is integer, pass the second argument as an integer. But suppose if you are mistakenly you are giving the age first and their name second, then what happened? There is an error. You will get an error there. Got it? So you will get an error. Function prototype mismatching. So that's why what we need to do, it should be function call should be matched with your function call should be matched with the function prototype. So here I am making the changes here, name and Ganesh, and you will get a perfect output as first one is hello Ganesh and the second one is your age is 36. Got it? If I am giving here the another set of the argument and suppose, then you will get a output as hello Akhilesh and your age is 21. So got it? Everyone getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I
Yes, sir.
call this functions two times? I am call the function one time only. Can I call it second time? Can I call it second time?
Yes, sir. You can. You can.
How many time I can call the function? Just simple interview question. How many times we can call a particular function?
How many ever times he gives, sir?
How many
number of
times
times.
we can call the function? Is it any limitation that we can call the function only 2 times, 3 times, 4 times?
No, sir, no.
So until when we have the requirement to execute that code, we can call it. We can even call infinite time also. Okay, but as per the requirement, we can call it that function whenever we require it. Just like for example, I'm calling this hello second times. Okay, in a second time, I'm giving the name as suppose Ganesh. Directly we can pass this also. Okay, without here in a first call, actually in a first function call, I have given here the variable name. In a second call, I am directly given here the constant value. You can also use this method also. So your output is first one is hello Akhilesh and your age is 21, and the next line hello Ganesh and your age is 36. Okay, you can call one more time hello, you can call one more time hello until you require that hello function to be executed. You just need to call it again and again and again and again. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the one of the example. I'm taking the new file, saving it. Okay. Okay. So now next one is I want to call, I want to write a addition function. So tell me the code addition. Okay, void addition or int addition. You can do void addition also, you can do int addition also. If you want to print your result in addition itself, then no need to pass it. You no need to return that value. But suppose if you want to return the result of the addition, then the return value should be int. So depending on your implementation, you can have the return value. Okay, so int addition is the function. It is returning one integer. And now second one, argument list. So can you tell me what is the argument list? Very first argument is the integer, second argument is also the integer. Got it? So this is the function prototype that I have given here. Now function prototype has been done. Now the next one is the function calling. I want to call the function. So here I am giving the two variables. So n is equal to suppose 20 and m is equal to 30. Okay, and there is one more res variable is there, and I'm doing here res is equal to addition, and I'm passing n comma m here. Okay, so what it's called? It is called as a function call. The very first one that I have written is called as a function prototype or the function declaration. Now function prototype is done, function call is also done. Now what is remaining? The remaining is the your definition.
Function definition.
How to write the definition? Just copy this prototype without semicolon. Copy the prototype without semicolon, paste it here, and just add the body. When you are adding the body, then you can directly type here your whatever your logic is there. Now generally the addition is doing a plus b. So whatever the input I'm getting here, that I'm adding, and that the same thing I'm returning here. So that return value I'm getting in res variable. So just I need to print it here. So cout addition is equal to, and here which variable? Res variable, and then after that endl. Okay, so got it? Getting the point?
Yes, so
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes. If you have any doubt at any line, just stop me. Just I'm making it build. Now, there is an error. Why? Because there is I have not given semicolon, comma. I have not given the comma, not semicolon. Okay, so addition is 50. So we'll get a perfect result as the addition is 50. So what happened here? So here there is a function call. When there is a function call, what happened? The right hand side of this equal to has been executed. So function call means it will go to execute here. Whatever the value of n is copied into a, whatever the value of m is copied into b, and now n is 20, so a is 20, m is 30, so b is also 30. So a and b, that is addition if you are doing, so 20 plus 30, 50, so return 50. It return 50, but the result of this addition is assigned to res variable, so res becomes 50. So res 50, and you are printing the result. Got it? Getting?
yes, so
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happen if I'm doing this addition 15 and 35, and the same cout function I'm copy here. Okay. So firstly the addition is 50, and second time what is the output?
50, so
It is
50.
50. Yes, it is also 50. Okay, why? Because 50, Because here the first 15 is copy into A, 35 is copy into B. So it means that here the variable is not get passed here. What is passed? The value is passed only. Whatever the value present here, what is the value of the n get passed to the A. What is the value present in M is passed to the B. This method of passing an argument is known as pass by value. It is called as a pass by value. So it means that we are not passing the variable, we are passing the value of that variable. So it means that the another variable get created here, another copy of that variable is created, another copy of the variable is created here, and it is local to the addition only. This A and B is local to addition, and this n, m and res, these are the local to the main function only. Got it? That's why it's known as a local variable. Local variable, local variable. Can I access here? Can I access here m and n? Suppose if I'm putting here m, so can I access it? Can I access m here, or can I access res here?
No, sir.
Why? Because res is not declared in this scope. Res is not local to addition, so addition don't know what is res. Addition don't know. So when you compile this program, then there is an error. Undefined identifier res, undeclared identifier res. Got it? Res is present here in the main itself. Again, if I'm trying to access here A in a main function, if I'm trying to access A, can I able to access? A is present in addition. So can I access the A in main function?
No, sir.
No. Why? Again, the same reason, because A is local to addition. A is main doesn't know that what is the meaning of A. So again, there is an error as an undeclared identifier. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can I make this res as a global here? Suppose I'm making the res as global. Okay. So int res, I make the res as a global, and I remove this res from here itself, and I'm changing my program somewhat. Void addition here also, or I remove this line. And what I'm doing here, res is equal to, and here void. Okay, just look at the program first. Okay, there is a variable res. Now there is a function of addition which is not returning anything, void, but it takes the two argument A and B. Now what you have done, in n and m two variables are there, you are passing that two variables to the addition, so you are calling the addition function. This n, that is 20, is passed to A, 30 is passed to B. So 20 plus 30 becomes 50, res becomes 50. So when I again come to the main function, when the addition get completed, it will come to the main function, and you are passing here, you are you are accessing the res variable itself. So can you tell me now what is the output? I have not written anything. What is the output here? Does it prints 50, or does any error? Or there is an error at this line, res is not accessible, or res is not accessible at this point. The line number is also given.
So why you're returning 0? So I don't think
Yeah, it is int
you
main.
don't need to return 0.
No, it is int main. Na? Int main always having the last line as a return 0. Just don't look at here last return 0. It is the actually syntax. Int main, last line should be return 0. It is not related to a program. Look at this line only, up to this line.
So I don't think there's any error. Thing will execute.
It will execute because here res is not defined. Res is having the A and B only, and you are accessing res. Here also main function is not having any variable as a res, and you are accessing res. So does it allow?
Yes, sir. RS is global
It's a
machine.
global variable, no, sir.
Yes.
RES is a global variable.
So what do you mean by
It will
global
execute.
variable? What do you mean by global
It
variable?
is global variable can be accessed into any function, so like even in even in void addition.
So global variable is the variable which is not declared inside the function, which is declared outside the function. That's why it's known as a global. The global represents that any function can use it directly. Any function can use it, or you can even say that the global variable is the shared variable. Global variable is the shared variable. It is shared by all the functions present in your program. Got it? So main can also access res. Main can also, addition can also access the res. So when you are using the global variable actually, so no need to return that value again. But the disadvantage of using the global variable is it consume your data memory. It consume the data memory. I think I have given this point before this also. What do you mean by your local variable and global variable, and what is the storage of it? So got it? So just look at here. Actually, when your program is executed, what happened? Suppose your program is known as a hello.exe, and this is present in your hard disk. Okay, this is present here. And if you double click it, then what happened? The whatever the exe file present in a hard disk, it is copy, it is just bring to the RAM memory. It is just bring to the RAM memory. Why RAM memory? Because RAM memory is contains all the executing program. Okay, so this is my RAM memory. My RAM memory. This memory can be 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, any day. So here, whatever the size of hello.exe, that is being supposed, this is the hello.exe. This is the size allocated. This is the memory allocated, by your operating system to your program. Got it? So when you double click on that hello.exe, the hello.exe will be bring to the RAM memory, and some memory has been allocated to your program for the execution. And who allocated it? The operating system will allocate it. So what happened? Again, now this memory, whatever the allocated memory, has been again divided into the 4 parts. So this is the allocated memory by your OS. This allocated memory, RAM memory, is again divided into the 4 parts. That is known as a classification. This the RAM memory has been classified into the 4 parts. Very first part is known as a code segment. It is known as a code memory or the code segment. So what the code segment contains? The code segment contains the content of your hello.exe. Code segment contains the hello.exe. So what is the size of hello.exe? It is the size of your code segment. Got it? Now the next one is the data segment. It is known as a data segment. Now data segment is known as a shared memory. Shared memory means your global variables. Your global variable is a shared variable. So all the shared variable will be stored in the data segment. So global variable will be stored in data segment. Next type of memory is known as a stack memory, stack type of memory. Stack memory means where your function call get resolved. All the main function, your addition function, your hello function will be resolved at the stack function. And you know what is the working of stack memory? Last in, first out. Okay, last in, first out. Got it? So stack memory. And the last type of the memory is known as a heap type of the memory. Heap type of the memory means it contains the dynamic variables or the dynamic allocated variables, or in a C++ it is known as a dynamic objects. All the object created with a new keyword that has been given the memory as a heap memory. Got it? So we will again revise it and we will make a note of it, that is what the content of each and every memory. So this code segment, this is a data segment, this is the stack memory, and this is the heap memory. Actually the size of code segment is fixed. It is fixed. The size of data segment is also fixed, but the size of stack and heap is not fixed. The stack can grow downwards and heap can also grow upwards. So it might happen that in some cases you have used heap memory most and stack memory less, or in other case you have used stack memory more and heap memory less. So there is no fixed memory is available here. Stack and heap is the, you can merge it here. Okay, so actually it is all managed by your operating system. Now what is the content of the code segment? The code segment contains your actual code of your program, that is your machine code of your program, or the opcodes of your program. Data segment memory is contains the global variables as well as the static variables. Now global and static, I think you know that because you learn the C language. The same concept is available in C++. Global variable means the variable which is declared outside the main function or the any function known as a global, and the static means if the variable created with a static keyword in static int a. Now a is a static variable. The value of this a get persist within a different function call. So that's why this is also called as a shared variable. So it is the data segment. In a data segment, the memory for this a get allocated. Now the next type of the memory is called as a stack memory. Now what the stack memory contains? The stack memory contains all the function calls as well as all the local variables. It contains the function call and the local variables. What it? So all the function call, when you are calling the addition function, that function will be inserted into this stack. When you are calling one more function, again it is get pushed into the stack. Okay, next one is the heap type of the memory. The heap of type of the memory contains the dynamically allocated variable. Dynamically objects, you can in C++ it is called as objects. So dynamic object contains in a heap memory. So that's why all the objects that you are creating with the new keyword, so that is being stored into your heap memory, heap type of memory. So this is very important. This is a VVIP related to your career point of view or any placement point of view. Code segment, data segment, stack memory, and the heap memory. You have to remember it. So the same I have given the interview of company Microsoft. In that Microsoft, actually they have asked me this question: what is the classification of the memory allocated by the operating system to your program? Okay, so classification is like this, and they can ask the each memory in a detail, that explain the stack memory, what the stack memory contains, how it works, explain the data segment, how it works. Now what is the default initial value of stack memory? Just we have already taken this. What is the default initial value of stack memory? Yes. What is the default initial value of stack memory, and what is
Is it
default
0, sir?
stack memory? And what about DS, data segment?
Or is it garbage value?
Yeah, you are saying that it is a
Yes.
garbage and it is 0. Actually it is
No, sir.
reverse.
Opposite. Reverse.
Yeah,
Reverse,
opposite.
yeah.
Yeah,
my
it
bad,
is
yeah.
opposite. It is garbage and it is 0. Okay, why? Because this data segment is the fixed memory and it is already allocated by your operating system, and it is fixed memory. So that's why what the operating system will do, all the memory get cleared first. All the memory clear, you will get a clear data segment. But what is stack? Stack is grow and shrink, grow and shrink. So what is the content of that stack? We don't know at that particular time. That's why the operating system will not clearing every time. It will as it is. The content of that memory is as it is. Anyone using it and it will throw the garbage. So that is whatever the data, it will throw the garbage. For example, there is, have you got this point?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I'm more talking about the stack memory. So this is my stack memory. Okay. Suppose in a main, you are calling the main function first. You are calling main function. When you are calling the main function, firstly main function has been inserted into the stack. So this is the pointer. This is the first pointer. Main function, your stack contains only main function. If the main function calling the addition function, if the main function is calling the addition function, so where this addition function will be inserted? At the top. Okay, so top get incremented and this is my addition function. It means that when the main function calling addition, suppose this is my addition function. So it means that now my stack contains two functions, main and addition. If suppose there is another one function, fun1 function is there, fun1. If the addition function call the fun1, if the addition function call the function, what happen? Again the fun1 get inserted and this is my new top. This is fun1. Do you have the subject name as data structure in your syllabus?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in the data structure actually you have learned this concept, stack memory. So what happened? When the new function get inserted, your top get incremented. Now what is my top? My fun1. Now my fun1 get executed. When the fun1 has completed its task, what happened? It will again go to the addition. But how? Because the top is get, because fun1 has completed its task, it is get popped. So who get, which function get popped? Main, addition or fun1? That is the behavior of the stack memory. The last inserted function get popped first, last in first out. So that's why now fun1 is not there in my stack. Now only what two functions are there, addition and main. But which function get popped? When the addition has successfully completed, which function get popped? Addition will be popped.
Addition.
Now only one function is there, main function. Now if there is no statement is present in the main function, what happened? Main is also pop. And when there is an empty stack is there, your program is terminated. Your program is terminated there. Got it?
Yes,
Got it, the point? Yes. So this is the actually your stack memory. And what happened actually? Main function. Suppose addition function call it. Now what is the content of this memory? I don't know. It is a previous content. It's the previous. It might be happened that when we are calling the previous function, it has allocated some byte of the memory. He has stored this some variables here. But when you are calling the another function, then again the same memory is using by that function, new function. So there is a garbage. This is a garbage memory. It is not cleared everything. Only the function will be popped, but the memory is not clear. So always remember that stack means garbage, because it is being used by anyone, just like your public toilet. Okay, just like your public toilet. A public toilet by used by anyone. Okay, anyone can use the public toilet, so it is a garbage. But suppose our private toilet, that is your data segment. So it is cleared. So cleared means it contains zero value. So it means that when you allocate a variable in a data segment, it contains zero. When you allocate a variable in stack memory, that is local variable, it contains garbage value. Got it? Primary default initial value is the garbage value. So getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me share my screen again. Okay. Now in actually C++, tell me what happened what happened, instead of giving here two inputs to the addition function, I have only given single one. So what happened here? Does it give any error? I have given only single argument here.
So it will only give the value of n, sir.
It will give value of n. Okay. Another answers? Yeah, Chandramohan, Nikita.
I think the b value will be taken as 0 as default.
B value.
That means m value.
Yeah, B value means M value. M I have not passed it. So what happened here? You just need to guess. I will tell you the answer, but guess is very important.
Error will be generated, I think, sir.
Error. Chandramohan says error will be generated. Okay, why Chandramohan? Why there is error? Reason I require.
Sir, in function definition, we are using two arguments now, sir.
Okay.
So
then,
how can
so what is the error? Actually, error is you are saying that my function, to execute my function, I require the two integers. Okay. But when you are calling that function, you are only giving one. To execute your function, you require two, and you are giving only one. So what happened? The function cannot execute. So that's why there is an error at this point. That is, there is a prototype mismatch error. You are saying that addition function with a single argument, call it, but there is no function available which is taking a single argument. There is a function available which is taking a two argument. So there is an error at that function call. Okay, you can see here there is an error is generated. Okay, function prototype. Yeah, candidate function, you can see here, candidate function not viable, require two arguments, but one was provided. Got it? So specifically it is given, that is, it required two argument but only one was provided, so that's why it will give the error. So how to remove it? Just give the second argument. Very simple. If you are giving the second argument, there is no error here. Got it? And what happen if I'm giving the third argument also? Suppose 5. If I'm giving third argument, then again the same thing happen. Your function required two argument, but you are giving one more additional argument. So your function give the error, prototype error again. Actually it requires two, but given three. Again there is. So remember that for calling a function, the function prototype should be matched with the function call. Got it? Getting this? These are
Yes,
the
sir.
small point, but has to be remembered. Okay. Now
So I
next,
just have a doubt.
yes. You can ask.
I just wanted to know more about pass by value and pass by reference. So for
Yeah,
this program, you defined
it is for the pass by value.
so this program, you said it's pass by value. The first program which you did, was it pass by reference? Because you gave C out in function definition and not function call.
No. Pass by reference is the another concept. I will explain it. Okay, I will explain it. But first, I need to complete this first pass by value. Pass by reference is somewhat different. Somewhat different means you are not passing the value. You are passing the actual variable. So actual variable means in a function itself, you can change the value of n and m itself. That is another part. Okay. So here only the value.
Even first program is pass by value, so.
Yeah, all the program that I have taken is a pass by value.
Okay.
Pass by value means what happen here, the value of this n get copied into A, value of the m is copied into B. Got it? Value get passed. Value means 20 and 30 get passed. Not the address of that n and m get passed. Got it? Address is
Okay,
not passed. Okay. Now where I am? Okay. So in a C++, actually, it might happen that I can also call the same function with one argument also. In C++, I can do my program in which the addition require 2 arguments, but I'm only passing 1 argument. So can I do? Can I do? There is an error. Actually, it will produce an error, but I can modify my program in which I'm calling the function using the single argument only, but there is no error. Can I do this? Do you have any idea how I can do? Do you have any idea how I can do this? In C language it is not possible, but in C++ I can do a program like this, that addition is actually required 2, but I'm only passing single. That concept is known as a default argument. That concept is known as a default argument. So here what happened here, what I have done here, I have mentioned here that if the value of b is not passed, if the second argument is not passed, by default the value of b is taken as 0. This is known as a default argument. So here what happened here, n is passed, so n is passed to a only, but you are not passing the second one. So what is the value of second is given? Default is 0 is given. So default b is taken as 0. B is taken as 0. Got it? So here also you need to modify here b is equal to 0, and now my program works perfectly. Yeah, and your output is the 20. Redefinition void. Okay. Yes. So because I have to declare it in a prototype itself. Okay. So in a prototype, I have done that b, by default the value of b I'm taking as 0. So in a function calling, I'm passing only single argument. If I'm passing single argument, the value of a is taken as n. But what is the value of b? Value of b, if it is not passed, it is taken from the prototype. What is the default value of b? It is 0 if it is not passed. Then what is this expression? It is 20 plus 0. 20 plus 0 is 20, and res is 20. Getting this point? Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Suppose if I am giving here the second argument also, then what happen? What is my result? Just tell me.
Same 20, sir.
Same 20?
No, sir, it's 50
No,
because the
50,
default
sir.
is 0, m is 30, so it'll take 30 value. So 20 plus 30, 50.
Okay. So here the default is 0. It means that if the value of b is not passed, if you have not given the value of b to your addition function, then what value has to be taken? 0. But suppose if you have given that value, you have given it as a 30, so the 30 will be taken. The 30, the 0 will not be taken, 30 will be taken. So a becomes 20 and b becomes 30, and now your result becomes 20 plus 30, so that is equal to 50, and you will get the answer as a 50 again. Got it? So you can have the result. I can do here for demonstration. I can do here. So 10 and 20. So my addition is 30. I should get the output as a 30. And here, suppose only 10, then only 10, then the answer should be addition is equal to 10 only.
10.
Okay, so addition is 30, addition is 10. Okay, I can have the more arguments also, just like suppose int c is equal to 0, int d is equal to 0, and here also int c comma int d. Okay, and here e c plus d. Okay, so I can do here like this. I can call this addition function in a several ways. Like first, I'm calling it with the some 4 arguments. I'm calling it with the 3 argument. I'm calling with the 2 argument, and I'm also call the same function with the 1 argument itself. Okay, and all are not producing any type of error. Very first one is addition is 100, second is 60, and 30 and 10. Now this facility is only available in C++. It is not available in C language. Got it? So this is known as a default argument. How we can pass the default argument to the function argument. If there is a default argument is given, then passing the value to that argument is not mandatory. It is not mandatory. If I'm calling this addition function without argument, then what happened? Suppose if I'm calling the addition function without argument, then what happened here?
It will take default value, sir.
No, because here 1 argument is compulsory. In your prototype, you have mentioned that at least one argument is given. If you are giving here 0, then it is perfectly fine. But if you are giving here only int a, then it means that the addition function require at least 1 argument, and here it will give the error. Okay, here a, but no argument was provided. Int a is there, but no argument is provided. But instead of this, if you are making as a 0, then there is no error, and you will get output perfectly output as this one. The last is addition is equal to 0 because all are 0. A is 0, B is 0, C is 0, D is 0. So 0 plus 0 plus 0, that is equal to RES is also 0. Got it? So in this way, actually, we can have the function with a multiple argument, but giving that argument is not mandatory. We can also do that in a C++ only. In a C language, it is not, this facility is not available. So getting the point? Getting
Yes,
the point?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me, this is my function prototype. So how many argument is compulsory, and what is the maximum number of argument that I can give to addition?
2.
What
2 is compulsory, sir.
2 is compulsory, and max
And
argument
4 is the maximum.
4 is the max one. Got it? Okay. So you can now get the difference between these two. 2 is the minimum and the maximum is the 4. Okay. So this is the default argument of your function. Sorry. Okay. So note down this program. If you have the actually pen and paper, you can note down this program. So here this and this is not true here. For this program, this is only true. Maximum you can pass 4, 3 also pass, 2 also pass, but the 0 and 1 is cannot be passed. Okay, so before taking the pass by reference, actually let me introduce one more concept that is very new in a C language, that is known as a reference. What is a reference? How to create a reference and what is the meaning of it? Have you done this program? Yes. Can I take the new program? Okay. Hash include IO stream. Namespace std. Control S. any space reference is the name. Then int main, and then return 0. Okay, so this is my structure. Now I will introduce to the one more concept that is known as a reference. But before this, can you tell me what is it? Int a is equal to 10 and int star p is equal to, or int star p, and
Address.
p is equal to address of a, and I am printing here cout a, cout value at p. Okay, so what is this p? What this p called?
Sir, P is address of P. Sir.
P contains address of a.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What this p called in a C language? Pointer. Yes, Pramod, correct. It's called as a pointer. It's called as a pointer. So what is pointer? The definition is very easy. The pointer is the special type of variable which store the, or which contains the address of the another variable. Okay, so in which we can store the address of another variable. So it means that the p contains address of a. So using p, I can access a here. Okay, using p I can access a, because if you have the address of any variable, then I can directly go to that variable. I can directly go to that address. So here I can access the a by using its name itself, but I want to access the a through p, then we require the dereferencing operator that is known as the star operator, dereference operator star p. Star p means you are accessing the a through p. It is also known as a value at operator. So it means that value at the address present in the p. So address present in p is address of a. So value of a. Got it? So if you are running this program, then you will get a output as a 10 10. You will get output as a first 10 and the second 10. You will get output as 10 10. Got it? So have you remembered
Yes,
that
sir.
concept pointer in C language?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but actually C in a C++ actually we can do a program with a pointer, but in a object oriented programming, better to not to use the pointer. So what is the alternative way of the pointer? If I don't want to use pointer, then what is the alternative way? The alternative way is the reference. Alternative way is the reference. So what is the reference and how to create the reference? Reference can be created by using this technique. Int and p is equal to a. So this is the reference. Okay, so here it means that p and a both are 10. P and a both are 10. It means that p is not a separate variable. P and a both are the common name. It is the name given to the memory which contains 10. Okay, so let me sorry, let me explain you with the whiteboard. Okay, so suppose this is my a variable, integer a equal to 10. So a is equal to 10. This is the 4 bytes of memory. Okay, it contains some address, and there is one reference I am creating. Now reference can be created by using int and the name of the reference. Suppose name of the reference I am taking as a p, and the reference should be initialized at the time when it is declared. So it should be initialized, so equal to a. So it means that p is the name given to the same memory. So it means that this memory is having now two names. The same memory can be accessed by using the two names. Just like you have the two names. in your college, actually your friend are calling you with another name, and at your home you have one pet name, but the body is the same body can be accessed by using two names. So here also the same memory can be accessed by using the two names. First is P, second is A. So if I'm doing here P is equal to 20, if I'm doing P is equal to 20, this memory get changed here. And if I am printing using A, what is the output? The output is 20, because A and P both are same thing. If you are changing it with the P name, then it will change that particular memory itself. And if you are accessing using the older name, it will accessing the same memory. So you are accessing that one memory only by using the two names here. Okay, so that the concept is called as a reference. So the reference is nothing but the another name. It is the alias of your memory. It is alias of your memory. Got it? But pointer concept is somewhat different. In a pointer, actually what you have done, so int star P is equal to address of A. So what happened here, the another variable P get created which contains the address of A. So address of A is 2000, so it is 2000. So P contains 2000, it means that P is pointing to A. So P is having the separate memory, but in a reference actually P and A both is having the name given to the one memory. Got it, this point? Getting
Yes,
this
sir.
point? So what is the reference here? P and A both are having the value 10, but it is not a separate variable, same variable. To get that the P and A are same variable, we are doing one program in which I am modifying that memory by using 20, and I am printing A variable. So what should be output? The output, if my logic is correct, whatever I tell you, if it is correct, then the output should be 20. And if my logic is wrong, then the output should be 10 only. So just check it. Here the output is 20. It means that whatever I told you, it is a very correct one. Okay, so P and A both are same. Again, I can show you that address of A and address of P both are same. Address of A equal to, now how to print address of A, and again cout address of P. Now it will clear your doubt that address of A and address of P, if both are same, it means that there are the two names given to the same memory. Okay, you can see here this memory address and the address of P both are the same addresses. So it means that you can, whatever I told you, it is a very correct, that P and A is the aliases or the name given to the one memory location. So got it, this concept? Reference?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So my definition for the reference is, it is the alias of existing variable. It is the alias of the existing or the alternate name to the existing variable. Now this is the very important one. Equal to is important. If you are only giving and P, and if you are doing here P is equal to A, then it will give the error. It will give error, because at the time of the declaration you need to initialize it. You need to initialize. So there is a error. Int and P initialize. Declaration, what is the error? Declaration of a reference variable P requires an initializer. Got it? So getting this error. So what we need to do? We have to initialize it. So we have to initialize with the A. Go to initialize with the A, and your error will be removed. Okay. and you can have the same again, value of A is equal to A and L, and again same value of P is also same, value of P is also same. So address is also same, value is also same. So it means that that A and P are not a separate variable. The A and P are the variable name pointing to one memory address. So getting this point, reference point, very important point in your C++ as well as in your Java as well as in the Python. All because up to only C++ pointer is supported, but after C++ all the languages, no language support pointer. The remaining all the languages support the references. Java also support the reference only, it doesn't support pointer. So any doubt, you can ask me the doubts. The call by reference we will take by tomorrow. Now the doubt session, question and answer session. If you have any doubt, just ask me. Yes, anyone have doubts? I have shared you that notes, C++ note. So have you downloaded that notes? Actually, I think directly PDF file has been sent. And also the that link.ganeshattarde.com/ I think C++ PPT, that has been updated daily. You need to check the same link again and again. When you click on it, the new, it will be added. The new content will be added every day. So that 2 links is very important. Getting? So no doubts. So should I stop today's session?